Hello.
Hello. This one's...
Hello.
Hello, Lenka. Hello.
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 Welcome to our happy talk. Bruce meet Lenka. And Lenka meet Bruce.
Nice to meet all.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to see you again.
Hello.
It's nice to see everybody.
Hello, Robert.
Hi, Robert.
Wow, this is Robert McCray, and nice to see a whole panel before I get on.
Yes.
This is it. Nice to see you guys, and it is about it's a wonderful sight. This is the first time I've ever jumped on when all three panels were full, and I had to get on.
New record!
It is a new record. Wow. So the marketing and advertising does work.
It's
and we can target people. Yes.
So John, I want you to meet.
I was kind of wondering after 20 years of doing this if it really made sense actually advertising and marketing for a blab.
Hey, Robert, I want you to meet my good friend Bruce King down there below you.
Hey, Bruce. Man, it's an awesome pleasure to have you on here today. It is. You've got a great smile. So
Stephen.
Where did you learn that from?
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, wow. So today is happiness, and what is the value?
Hello.
So tell me, John, is there any value in happiness?
Yeah, sure seems to be.
Are you there?
Well, it eliminates unhappiness.
Oh, good. What does it do
Better
for you?
relationships, more productivity, lots of things.
Ah. So you do get more productivity. Do you actually get more business out of it and connections with friends and family? Yeah.
It's marvelous.
Yeah. And my happiness is marvelous. Well, I enjoy the smile, and I kind of have a feeling where it came from. And stop.
Good, solid advice. Thank you, Robert.
I can't imagine where you got it from, John. I mean, I really can't. But I'll take a stab at it.
Yeah.
So, Limke, thank you for being on today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to see you back.
I am grateful to be here.
Awesome.
Yay, it is true. And we're grateful for you to be here with us.
Thank you.
Yes. Lenka, what is the value of happiness to you?
The value of happiness for me is, if I can't say with words, it's a very, 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 very special, like a treasure.
Right.
Like a treasure.
It's your deep pleasure to feel happy.
Yes.
She is just a doll.
Yeah.
She truly is.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have a great day here.
So, Stephen, the value. So let's get a little cap. Stephen Whiteley here has been a huge influence on happiness and happiness in my life and happiness in business. it's a big shift. I mean, he actually has shifted my thought processes to creating that in other people, and not creating or being able to create that in others. And thank you, Stephen, for being able to do that, and that huge influence and huge impact that really spreads and really it influences other people to live a happier, more fulfilled life.
You're very welcome. That is always my favorite thing to do.
Very
yeah.
Thank you. So I'll let you kind of let us tell us what is the value. What is the value
Okay.
in happiness?
So there is a kind of a value equivalence in happiness. So let me start at the beginning. When we're born, we don't produce anything. We just consume.
Mm-hmm.
So as we grow, we learn to produce more and more. And some people do, and some people don't. But those of us that really do, if you think about it, if you consume value, you are focused on the outflow of money and the inflow of clutter and addiction. Because if you only are consuming, you're collecting things both inside and out. You're growing bigger, getting less healthy, and you are cluttering up your environment with things that are generally not used because you don't like to produce. So this way of living is actually what takes away from happiness. So we try to get our happiness through the pleasure of acquisition and consumption.
So you're saying that the pleasure, because we do consume, we have to consume delicious foods, and we can consume delicious relationships and delicious work. We enjoy that. That is consuming, but where does that really translate to value?
Exactly. So if we want to give value back, then what that leads to is more money inflow and less focus on physical addictions, so better health and better relationships, because everybody likes givers over takers.
True. So if we are a giver of information and a giver of knowledge, like what you're portraying right here, so the value raises because of our, if we want to reserve to ourselves and start consuming alcohol, drugs, whatever the case may be, then that really shuts down. You become a taker rather than a giver.
And so that leads to worse relationship with yourself and worse relationship with those around.
So offering somebody a beer is not really giving.
Offering someone a beer is giving. Trying to get them drunk is taking.
One.
And this is the fundamental equation of happiness. Pleasure is not bad, but focusing on pleasure leads to problems of destruction. So when we focus on production, then we can enjoy the occasional pleasure with great, what would I call that? Great savoring.
Savoring with a kettle blend.
You know, having that one glass of wine or that one delicious piece of chocolate. or something like that, where you don't try to eat it all before someone else does, or drink it all before someone else does.
That's true.
Because that's the descent into the pit. But if you have done a good deal of production during the day and you're savoring the memory and your satisfaction and fulfillment from that, then you can perfectly well and perfectly legitimately savor the glass of wine, the cookie or cake, or the piece of chocolate, or whatever your desired bodily pleasure is, the hedonic pleasure. So in that case, hedonic pleasure simply adds to the equation. But if you focus on hedonic pleasure, then it gets a need to have more and more of it to get the same boost. So it's more and more money going away. And you are getting less and less healthy, usually putting on more and more weight, getting weaker and weaker, and more sick.
So how does somebody judge within themselves when they're overextending themselves in certain areas? How do they create that value with that they would know that they're overdoing
and
something?
This is one of the key measuring sticks of all happiness. How well am I treating myself?
Oh shoot! I'll sacrifice it for anybody else. Oh! God, you seem to like that one too, John.
Where you're feeling bad later, then you're overdoing it. If you're consuming to the point where you are thoroughly enjoying it in the moment and later, then you've done it just nicely. But if you're going to regret it later, you
or like have a headache in the morning, or
eat too many pieces, or feeling bad about yourself because you become overweight and weak, those kind of things.
Well, most people in America, I shouldn't say most, I should say
there is a great
people.
Trend in society that is fostered by our internal mechanisms that leads us down that road. So what is happening is the commercial market is trying to convince us that happiness comes from the outside in. Most marketing is based on either fear of loss or some kind of happiness benefit, or both. So
But that's how a lot of that works. Because
but it only works for them. It doesn't work for you. So the question is, am I going to let them manipulate me, or am I going to take control of myself?
So where do we find the value of knowing when someone else is taking control? Because we all have bought into those ads.
Absolutely. So, but it's not only that. It's not only that. Right? It's also the school system. Sit there and be quiet. Do as you're told. So that means the outside authority is more than we are. And so we don't come to trust ourselves. We come to trust the outside authority.
Like even the police is bigger authority than sometimes we give ourselves our own authority to create our own value within ourselves. Because something outside of us, we...
Exactly. Or, who am I to tell the world what's what? Who am I to try to influence the world?
Yeah, no kidding. Why are you trying to tell us about the value of happiness? Who are you?
And believe me, it took me a long time to get here. It wasn't easy in the beginning.
So you have got an inherent value around happiness that registers
Yes.
deep within you, that anything I can call you an SOB, I can call you anything, and it really, I mean, there's ways that you have learned, if it instantly is not related to happiness, you're able to
Yes.
release it within you.
I'm able to not let it land on me because I see, when people are talking to us, they might be talking about us, but they're really talking about themselves, because everybody can only come from their own perspective.
As us,
Yeah,
with
exactly.
others.
Us too. So we can only come from our own perspective, even though people make mind reads and they pretend that they can understand other people's perspective. No thanks, I don't want more, I'm full. Oh, yes, you do!
I happen to believe in mediums. So easy on me.
So people are getting into that kind of stuff all the time. And like we've talked about here many times, that's the recipe for conflict, getting in other people's stuff. If you want to live in harmony and happy harmony, stay in your own stuff.
That's a big switch.
Yeah,
We
it's
weren't
a
brought up
big
that way.
switch.
Because now you're saying you're continuously happy. You could be arrested. You could be done. Whatever
Doesn't
somebody
matter.
wanted to do to you, it doesn't matter at this point. It's because of the buildup of clarity within yourself that brought that value to be able to explicitly know when you're going to be triggered, and when that trigger comes up,
Triggers don't come up anymore. And here's why. And here's how. The triggers don't come up because I have come to realize that there is no value in thinking negatively. How does it help me, my energy, my productivity, my creativity, my intuition, my connectedness, to be negative?
I would say in this case there is no way of seeing any value. I don't see the value in it, and sometimes there's no way of because you went through that pain
process,
and that pain
to realize that why would I go there? It doesn't help me in any way.
So it's even more important for us to release those triggers that happen to fly up, whether it is someone saying, you should be doing something else, you should be going somewhere, you should be doing other things because it's not working for you. Well, that's them putting a perspective on me and allowing that to be it's their own stuff that really doesn't really register with what's really valuable inside my own heart.
Only you can know what serves you well, because they might be making a judgment based on money or their perception of a relationship or whatever their value is for a relationship. But that's not necessarily your value, or it might even be a shared value, but it might not be your only value. So then, because of that, you are the only arbiter of what serves you well.
So if you want to feel sad, it's just myself that's going to feel sad. The rest of the world
You can feel
doesn't
sad
feel
if you want to feel sad. I don't mind.
Second offense, Stephen.
But I don't want to feel sad. Because when I feel sad, like sadness is about loss usually. And I don't feel loss. I live in an abundant universe. Why would I feel loss? Like a lot of times it has to do with death, and people see that as a loss.
It's not.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Eternity.
So you still have them in your mind. You still have them in your heart. You still have them in your photo album. So the good news is you have all of their good parts without the drama that you didn't like.
Oh, that's pretty darn sweet.
Yeah. So, it's all good.
Wow.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And the benefits of this,
Yeah, that makes sense.
like there are some costs as well, right? Because not everybody wants to be happy all the time. And not everybody appreciates people being happy all the time, especially when they're not. but the benefits are immense. You know, it's beautiful health, it's beautiful fitness, it's growing wealth, it's loss of physical addictions, it's lovely, lovely sleep, it's high productivity. But what's not to like about that? The only thing that keeps a lot of people from it is a desire to avoid work. Because it is an effort. It takes learning, it takes productivity, it takes movement, all of that stuff. But that's the joy in life.
So people will say that unhappiness creates change, right? Because it spurs you to make a change.
Yeah, that is, in my view, the one positive purpose of negativity.
So how do we do that same thing with happiness then? If we're happy all the time, how do we use that to spur change? Or how do we create the change then?
Great question. Thank you. Because one key element of happiness is personal growth. So when we are growing as a person, we are feeling really good. And
But there's pain sometimes.
not in my experience.
Well, we go through because we have to go.
Do it that way. A lot of people do it that way, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like we've talked about this before, eh? Like my experience at the gym. A lot of people think no pain, no gain. I gave up on that idea a long time ago. And I gain every time I go there, and I work in happy harmony with the exercise equipment, and I gain.
Yes. Happy harmony. That's interesting. I'm falling in love with this treadmill that I'm on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really
feel my
love this
body
treadmill.
go. Feel this machine supporting my fitness.
I'm making
Yeah,
love to
yeah.
this machine. I mean, I really appreciate it. I appreciate what it's doing to my body. I'm
Yes.
my muscles.
Thank you, machine, for giving me this opportunity to go strong enough to master you.
Master you. So master my
master
own
the machine.
psyche.
I consider mastery of the machine when you can do it at its full capacity. I love to master machines. So I turn them up to their highest setting, and if I can still do it, then that's mastery of the machine. And that machine gave me the opportunity to develop that mastery. I'm very grateful to the machine.
So, John, when you were saying about we have to go through unhappiness to get to the happy moments, what's your experience of something like that?
Well, let's say, for instance, if you were moving, no one wants to have to pack the boxes. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to have to go through that work of making the move. But then once you get there, you love your new house. It's a beautiful surrounding. But the pain of having to go through all the, the packing and the moving itself is not anything like that.
So it actually brings down your energy, where now you've got to do, so it's a little more force. So now so Stephen, would he be adding value by packing the boxes? So what I would be doing
is while I'm packing the boxes, I would be thinking about my new house and how I'm going to put this thing in that house and how this thing is going to arrive there safe and sound. And
so forget about the organization. Just get the box packed.
So it is a state of mind. It's
not that though. But it's keeping one of my eyes on the end goal that's going to make me feel good.
Oh, okay.
While I keep the other eye on where I am and what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah. So, Stephen Covey talked about this as begin with the end in mind. But it's a great NLP trick is think about the end goal, connect with that feeling, let that propel you through your work. It's be, do, have.
So when you're packing the boxes and you're having your vision on the goal, which is the new house, now that's the excitement. That's the end goal in mind, and you're still present in the packing of the boxes.
But I'm connected to the feeling of the end goal. For me, it wouldn't actually be the house. It would be who I'm going to connect with there, what I'm going to do there, what I'm going to create there.
So has that become the value?
So to me, that is the big value. Yeah, who do I become there?
So who do you become?
Yeah. Because we're always becoming, right?
We're always becoming, but most of us don't set that type of goal. I mean, we could do it. We could call this a relationship.
Exactly. We're all becoming all the time, but we're mostly totally unconscious of what we're becoming.
So why don't you set up one eye on the future and one eye on the present? Pack the boxes as you would normally pack, but have what you're going to feel like in the new house. It could be a new relationship. So you're packing that relationship, you're envisioning that relationship the way you want it in the future, and then you back up. And when you're in the present moment, you're still going to the dating sites, making connections, doing all that stuff, but you're having one eye on the future.
So, and that one eye on the future is what keeps that feeling in you. That feeling drives the motivation that keeps you happily moving ahead at twice the speed you otherwise would. Oh, yeah.
So but how? So what if someone needs to? So that's where these make small steps. That's where you get the idea of us making small steps. Whether you have an addiction you can't get over, so that addiction says it's making you resonate with the goal in mind, and you make baby steps in order to overcome the issues that are going on.
Yeah.
That takes me a long time.
Woo-hoo! Hey, here's Diggity. How do you say your name there, DHDGDCF? Welcome. We're really happy to see you here. Would love to call you by name.
That could be the name.
Yes.
So be, one eye on the future.
One eye on the name with no vowels. Yeah. So the value equation of happiness is the value of production over consumption and the value of looking where you want to go instead of looking where you are or at the past.
Mm-hmm. So John, in your statement about going through the unhappiness, so it might be unhappy making that filling the boxes and getting ready to move, but it's more important not to get caught up in that frustration. It's more important to stay focused on the new home that you're going to go be living in. Yeah.
So then we can change what we think is an unhappy experience to a happy experience, right?
Yeah.
So then the packing can become a great experience. If I let it be a great experience, then I could be offering to help people pack.
Yeah, exactly.
They go, I got to pack. That's great.
Yoo-hoo! Let's get packing.
Yeah.
So in our 4 categories of life, meaning relationships, work, home, and family, you would, I don't know if I said that exactly right, but though each one of them has a certain goal that needs to be set forth. So you can be in one of those areas are not doing so well right now, and they have one eye on the future.
Yeah,
set that goal.
Where do I want to take this one?
Where do I want to take that one? God, yeah.
Where
So
do I want to be in that category? And then if I'm going to be that way, what am I going to do to get there? What's my first step? When will I take it?
So then gauging the value of how that is, because the why needs to be a really big value.
Yes. The bigger your why is, the more motivating it is.
Well, thank you, John, for that conversation.
Segue.
You're welcome.
That was a really good insight on how to handle, where value really comes from. And it really comes from, sometimes it's projected into the future, and in the present moment, we got to be valuing ourselves fully.
Yeah, so this is why the core of happiness is loving ourselves. And as we're loving ourselves, then we're loving what we're producing, we're loving what we have the opportunity to achieve. Like I've said here many times, I don't keep a to-do list. I don't even keep a to-be list, because I know what I'd be. I keep a new achievement list.
An achievement list.
Yeah, because it makes me feel really good. Like I'm growing, like I'm getting extra things done. Like
I love the achievement world.
Yeah, exactly. And when I achieve, I feel electric. Okay, really fantastic.
So how does your wife actually put up with your happiness?
And she had a lot of trouble with that for a long time. And she's now coming around to see the value of it.
So there's value in that.
Oh, yes.
So, but you had to hold the picture for her to see that value.
Exactly. I couldn't bring her, I couldn't have her follow me. She has to do it her own way. Right?
Oh, boy, that's a huge lesson.
But at one point, because everything is moving, there's no status quo, right? So if you're not getting happy, you're getting unhappy. So at one point, she was really unhappy. And I was I don't know what I said. And she said, I don't want to feel this way. And I said, okay, how would you really like to feel? And she thought about it for a long time, and she said, happy. She hadn't thought about that, right? She was.
And you were going on every day in the happiness world, projecting this out, trying to create this happy thing, and she had no idea what to be like. But
she was in the negative. That's the way she grew up. It's not her fault, right?
That's not anybody's fault. But
yeah. So she wasn't thinking about what she wanted. She was thinking about what she didn't want. She didn't want to be like me. And I don't blame her. I don't want to be like her either. But I got a little secret for you.
Okay.
Can't be like anybody else. Not possible. You don't have their experiences. You don't have all of their beliefs.
No, you don't. It's true.
So it's a bit of a fool's game to say, I don't want to be like you, because you can't. Even if you try to be everything like me, you cannot be like me.
Boy, I thought I could, Stephen. I really wanted.
You don't want to be happy like me. You want to be happy like you.
Oh, so I have my own unique happiness got to be stirred up and brought out.
Yeah. See, there's this idea that we're all so used to is comparing ourselves with other people.
There you go.
And to compare is to despair.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
That took a couple of notches down.
Woo-wee.
Despair?
Yeah, because you will always be able to find somebody who's better at than this or that than you. And so that makes us feel like, we don't go around, most of us, going,
Bless you.
Bless you.
That was the first time I did that.
Woo-hoo.
I feel pretty good.
It's true what you think.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when we are comparing ourselves with other people, are we normally comparing ourselves in positive ways or negative ways?
Oh, shoot. That's not good.
No, not good. Compare is to despair.
That's right.
And it's a fool's game because, like I said, you cannot be like another person. You can only be like you. You can be more and more authentic as you. And that's what the world needs, is all of us to wake up and be authentic to ourselves. We have a gift to give the world.
That's true.
So this is the important thing, is to wake up to be ourselves.
But we don't know how to do that.
But we are learning.
Oh.
The way to do that is through harmony. You harmony with yourself, harmony with your environment, and harmony with your purpose, because your purpose is the authentic you. So I can help you understand your purpose. And I can help you let go of all of that inherited emotional jail.
Inherited emotional jail. So once we clear out the inherited emotional jail, then our purpose will come through, and our value of what we think life is will shine even more so, that we'll to have that purposeful life.
Yeah, as long as we do the work to complete all of the process. So just because you break down the walls of the inherited emotional jail doesn't mean that you actually have clarity on your purpose already. You can be free and drifting. So you still need to do the work to find out what is my purpose. And then once you get your purpose, you need to do the work to align with your purpose, because it doesn't matter if you know what your purpose is. What matters is if you live your purpose.
Mm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I can actually see the connection there.
Yeah. So now we're living our purpose. Then we're feeling great every day. This is very good. So the only other
sweet
trick,
it is.
Yeah, the only other trick is the little bits of work to do to stay in harmony with your environment, so you can focus on your purpose every day. So, you need to learn how not to create fights and how to deflect them when they come at you without backing down. But that's all very simple stuff.
Powerful stuff.
But then you've ended unhappiness for good, right? If there's no unhappiness left in the back because you've broken down the walls of the inherited emotional jail, you've resolved the hurts of the past, and you've taken the wisdom out of them, and then you're thankful and grateful for everybody around you because they're either your teacher or your helper. And
wow, so they're either your teacher or your helper.
Yeah.
Yes, because maybe you need to learn, and the reason is you are with that person.
Yes.
The life that I did when I realized that in my marriage, and I told myself, okay, Lenka, you need to learn this. What it is.
Yes, exactly. It is what it is. And I am not what I am. I am what I want to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it serves me to do that, I will learn to do that. If it serves me to be this way, I'll be that way.
Just if it serves me. Okay.
The only thing that I am is a learning organism.
So we can we need to train ourselves each and every day to elevate our consciousness as a learning organism to the vibration that we want to have.
Yes.
We had this discussion about Hitler yesterday. Now that he still had a value.
Yes.
He still had a value, and people followed that value. And it wasn't right, but it's still, in his mind, it was.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Well, only sort of.
It's what?
Only sort of was it right in his mind, because he was hiding what he was doing in big part, right? So if you're hiding it, then you're doing it, but it's not okay.
So it's more apparent, I think, we're being more of an open book today as a society, because things like that really get attacked in some way.
Yeah.
So we are living organisms that learn from history.
Our own history, yep. And the history of our society.
So what we're doing is really learning really learning from our past in order to create our new future.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Well, we're actually creating our present day after day after day, which ends up being our future. It's what I'm doing today that is my future tomorrow.
Yes, because we create our now in this moment.
Yeah. You can't operate in the future.
Correct. You can't. You can only operate in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. So every day, what I'm doing now is creating my future tomorrow.
Awesome. So that brings the value to you and raises that value, and that raises the happiness feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's value in the present. Yeah.
I keep a list every day of what I want done, what new achievements I want.
Yeah, I see it.
And Bruce has seen it before as well.
Yeah.
But it fills me with immense fulfillment to complete that each day.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so good about getting that stuff done because it's creating my tomorrow.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
So here we go. That is the value equation of happiness, is produce more than you consume and produce with a happy heart that is bringing you what you want.
And that's the power in that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my great pleasure to coach people to that.
So some of it is that someone can just retire in a fashion so they surrender to the outcome that they really want to have. Because if you worked at it and things are not happening the way you want, you sometimes have to surrender with inside of yourself to allow the energy to flow through you.
Yeah, so I call that acceptance. I think it's about the same as surrender. So
sure it is.
No quibble. But acceptance is the key to growth. Not the only key, but one of the real important keys. So I accept me as I am. I always accept me as I am, and I want more.
Yeah.
So there's no conflict in that. I can accept who I am and want more. I can accept how much money I have and want more. I can accept how much food I have and want more. I can accept how much love I have and want more.
Mm-hmm.
There's no conflict in that. So I just set my aim and I move on it.
If you didn't set your aim, you would be letting life happen to you.
Yes. See, what people don't understand is that the inner world drives the outer world. So by shifting the inner world, we shift what's happening in the outer world.
All the time.
Yeah. You've probably heard this saying, eh? If you don't go within, you will go without.
And that's a constant.
So it's the within part is the work that I do.
Powerful.
Yeah.
So now, if I experience now as what I want in the future, then it's easier to produce.
It's on its way.
Right?
So if you hold that and you act in accordance with that, it is yours. But if you hold it in your mind and act differently, we can thwart it. And we can thwart it by inconsistently holding it in our mind. And it helps immensely to have more than one mind holding it, because the overall brain power is the square of the number of brains that are operating together. So if you're doing it on your own, you're the power of one. If you got a partner, you're the power of 4. If you got 2 partners, you're the power of 9. So it helps a lot to have more than one mind on the success of this venture that we're co-creating here.
so you can use that as a leverage then.
Yoo-hoo!
Right?
New Day Consulting and Jeremy Murphy have arrived. Yay! Hello.
Say that again, John.
So the more partners we have, the more leverage we have then. The more people we bring in, the more minds we bring in, the more leverage we have, the more that's a resource to use, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. That's exactly right. the more minds we get focused on the desired aim, the faster and the more likely it comes.
Yes,
And more
because
people-
we
Wow.
create much more power energy, and the energy will be much powerful, like
Yes.
just one person.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's the square of the number of people that are focused on it is the power that goes into it.
And if I can,
I like that, Jeremy. The value of happiness is infinite. Yeah.
and if I
Yes.
can live in a manner of happy way, then more people are going to want to help. They're going to want to be with me and on my team, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But what I hear in there, it's sometimes the people feel they have a lot of issues to get over, like their smallness, maybe their fear, they're jealous, they're feeling guilty. So those things all have to be cleared out of the way in order for you to
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. One step at a time.
So it's got to be the inner work. Right.
It's inner work.
Yeah.
It's all about the inner. It's in your inner self, with a nice target of value of what you want in the future.
Yeah. So just to give you an example, I was talking to one of my coaching clients this morning, and he had grown up in a family that considered themselves to be business failures, and so he was always struggling to make money. He was a good salesman. He's a natural networker and salesman, and he has these skills, but that internal belief was making it marginally successful to support his family. So we did a couple of sessions. We shifted a few things around, and his business has taken off. He's doing so much better now. He reported to me this morning. So it's the inner game always driving the outer game. We are what we believe. Change your language, change your life.
We are what we are.
So that is like Jeremy was saying, it's like the prison that we're in with our limited false beliefs.
Yeah.
That we are small in some way, that we can't have the relationship that we want, or we can't have the money we want.
I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. So I'm always in lack. I'm always looking at the bank account, and there's $10 we can put in for gas.
And then you're focused on the $10 you have that you wish was bigger, rather than focusing on how you're going to get the 10,000 you want.
If you spend more time on the 10,000 that you want,
Yeah,
or the $1 million that you want,
exactly. Then things are going to get a whole lot better. As long as you're focused on the $10, you're going to stay at $10 or less.
Because you focus on what you don't want,
Yeah.
and for sure you get more than what you don't want.
Yeah. See, your mind works. It's just a question of where you're focusing it. You are manifesting exactly what you have, all of us. So if we want to manifest something new, we got to shift our way of being. And that starts on the inside.
So, and a whole
not
lot
that
of
we have to
jumping
learn
nails
to
to get-
manifest. We're already manifesting.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's a constant. No matter
Exactly.
we
That is the way of the
Every day.
universe, right? It's manifesting through us what we're believing.
so careful what you think.
Exactly. Careful
What you think, what you say,
and what you believe.
what you believe.
Wow. Sometimes you got some old.
It's like Jeremy said, the limiting beliefs that are like a prison. The inherited emotional jail is what I've been calling it. Everybody telling you you're not enough, you believing you're not enough. It's all erroneous thinking on your part, because nobody can make us think something. So they have a lot of influence, especially when we're really young. But all the time, there can be more influence. But only we can accept what we decide about ourselves.
So sometimes between the 0 and 2 years old, a lot of those imprints are been imprinted on us. So we are open sponges at that age to allow all those different negative feelings about life and the view of life.
Yeah, some would even say 0 and 7.
Some say 0 and 7. So what if you took a child, a baby just coming out right now, and you programmed them with positive affirmations, love, joy, and happiness, and continuously ran that vibration in their room, in their conversations, and kept them away from that negativity?
Yes. Then it makes a huge difference. But it's never too late to have a happy childhood.
Eva, you start now.
I have people reconstruct their childhood all the time.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Because it's so critical, because just like you said, a lot of those messages came in during that critical period from conception right up to 7 years old. And
what I hear here is that a lot of this then is emotional, not just logical, but emotional. It's how you feel that can really be the difference, right?
I think that's exactly right. Our society is so focused on how things look. But the bigger issue is how things feel, because it's feelings that generate action and inaction. And action is the one thing that makes all the difference. So good point, Bruce. Very nice.
Cool.
So,
yay. So that makes it huge. So you can reconstruct the childhood as us being adults and say, wow, all those things that we experienced when we were a child, our parents beating up each other, to alcoholism, all of that stuff, Stephen, you can actually recreate it all, destroy it all, and bring in those happy, fulfilling moments as being in a childhood, living that experience of happiness on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, think about it. The past does not exist.
It doesn't, because it's already passed.
Exactly. Can you see the past? I
can't.
So it's only in your mind. Same for the future. They're only in our mind. So of course we can change it in our mind. We change our mind all the time. I just do it more purposefully.
So, like Jeremy says, but it exists once, right? So it existed but that's our reference point.
Yeah. And you can make that reference point be anything you want it to be. That's the point.
You can
we can live in our hurts, or we cannot live in our hurts. When we have hurts, and everybody has hurts, then we can let it define us, defeat us, or design us. I choose to design me.
Woohoo! Yeah.
I do.
So designing.
Yeah. And most people let it defeat them.
And then we can design our experience of our past as something that we can use positively.
Exactly. That we can learn from it and become more.
So if we had a negative past, we can actually look at it as being a positive influence on our present moment.
Yeah, because each of those hurts has a lesson to be learned in it, because anything that hurts us is something that's untrue. Because truth is positive love. So, if it's untrue, there's something to learn to get to truth.
But if it hurts you, it's untruth.
That's right, because truth is not hurt. Truth is love.
Okay.
Not
so here's Jeremy. So
love, but real loving kindness.
So negativity illuminates the authentic path to positivity.
Yes.
It is the absolute truth, Jeremy was saying.
Exactly. Exactly right. Thank you, Jeremy.
Those are some really good words.
That's awesome.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there it is. So it's 3 o'clock. I think we've had a great discussion here. I want to thank everybody who joined in, either on the chat or here on the platform. It's been grand. I think we've learned a lot and we've moved ourselves forward. And that's what's always good fun.
So the blessing in this is that we've created in our past of an understanding of how we can create a better, more filled and fulfilling future through marketing, through sales, through getting healed from our past hurts, bringing value to the present moment, and actually looking forward into the future where we can actually live in a society or for ourselves in bliss and happiness and positivity. So thank you, Stephen L. Whiteley. Thank you, Linke, and thank you, John.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, so we have this tradition where we laugh our way out, so please join us.
See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, stay well, have fun. I'm Stephen Whiteley. We'll see you tomorrow.